Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well. Today, I have with me my dear friend Vicky, who I had the honor and pleasure to interview a couple of times before, also with our friend Dennis, with whom we had beautiful exchanges on different important topics having to do with healing and with PTSD and all kinds of subjects which are very relevant in today's in those times we're living today. You are, Vicky, today my first interview back into the beautiful series of manifesting a positive reality on Terra. And it will be an honor and joy to have you with us to tell us a little bit more about what it is you feel like incarnating in this experience, Terran experience, in the present and a little bit in the future as well, regarding this manifestation of a positive reality on Terra. So welcome, my dear Vicky.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear friend. I appreciate you doing this.
It's a pleasure.
As a few people might have seen, I've done some videos pertaining to the fact of going within, especially recovering the voice, our true voice. And for everybody is a different journey, but the steps that I talked about were my humble steps through my practice in Buddhism and yoga. And with that journey so far, and then going to GSEC, it really opened a realm, if I may say, of deciphering, discovering not only who I am here on this earth, which is obviously an amazing human being. Not that it's ego driven, but I feel that our human race and our essence is beautiful and magnificent, and recognizing that myself. Because we've been hard on ourselves for so many years, acknowledging that through what I had discussed in the videos, which is honing into your voice and being in silence and trusting that intuition, that sometimes it's not a voice, it's not a person telling you, it's you and your feeling, and along with that, maybe a word or a phrase. And these are the things that I'm trying to trust, because it's a different communication. It's not the same as we're having right now. So that inner communication that I'm developing with myself, with another higher self, which I think a lot of us are honing into, yeah. Which is very fascinating, because after going to GSEC, as I said, I've confirmed a few things that really made me realize this is real. I am in this journey with so many other beautiful starseeds here at this time in our historical 2024.
And I can confirm, because I was sitting next to you at JSEC many times, and I could see.
Thank you for
all these emotions and things. I could see you were really, it was really connecting there, and it was a beautiful journey.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I was stuck to you. Like, I don't know. I think. Thank you for bringing that up. I think you and I share a connection that, eventually we are unraveling, and we have, and I think the first thing, not trying to go off the topic, it was Japan. Remember?
Yeah.
You said that you did this artwork, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Japan. I practice Japanese Buddhism, and I've been there so many times, and, and then Mount Fuji and all that came up, and then we just came together on that point.
Absolutely.
But with that said, since we've been connecting many things since then, and it's been a nice, beautiful journey to see you and others being able to connect that part of us that again was forgotten, because we have to live in this existence, and it's very hard. Obviously, the journey, because deep inside your heart there's something there that is beyond our comprehension. It's not probably with words, as I said. I remember as a little kid, I used to look always up at the sky at night, so I had this yearning, for the skies. But you get wrapped up with your life and your traumas and your family and, paying bills and all that. And all of a sudden, all these layers of things are covering you, are covering the actual essence of who you are. So again, this journey has been, and it continues to be, an unraveling of who we truly are. And one thing that I've been noticing is that I'm owning it, because before I was like, oh, well, that's kind of too much for me. I don't think I'm, this amazing thing, you know. But then I had a deep meditation, which I shared with you, which is probably another subject. I had a deep meditation one night that, that told me you are sovereign. You are one with everything. So there's no excuse. There's no apology. I don't have to apologize for anything that I say and do, as long as my heart is forward.
Yeah.
And my intention is to help others. So that was powerful, and to know other things within that realization, and having insights of other families that are not only here, but they're in the stars, to receive names and to receive recognition in a certain degree with going to GSEC and feeling, as you said, I was there with you. And one of the times was when Melanie Sherry came out, and I wasn't planning to to have this massive rainfall, but I felt it in my heart deeply when she talked about it, when she showed pictures of children and them being nourished. That hit my heart so profoundly that I couldn't stop crying. So for me, even though I couldn't understand it, but I felt it. I felt that intensity, and those are the things that I'm trying to learn, that sometimes it's not somebody telling you, yeah, you've been there, you've done that. It's a language that's going to tell you that you have to trust eventually. And that's where I'm at. I'm at that process of trusting this different realm that I'm encountering, because I'm allowing myself to see the connections, not only at this moment, but how I came from, where I came from, like from my birth to my parents, to, to making decisions to change my entire way of thinking, which was scary, and to be on this journey most of the time on my own, So I'm not saying that I'm, woe is me. No, it had to happen in order to entice, to bring forth that warrior, mentality, that, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't have anybody's back, but I had my back.
Yeah.
And I'm powerful, and now that I'm getting together with others, I see the similarities of many beautiful women and men who have gone through so much, and have been able to be so resilient. And that's what I admire so much of the human race, is the resilience that we have, that at times I would think, I don't know how I survived that situation. And I look at back now. Yes.
No.
I look at that, I look back now, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I made it through. I made it through that. And if I made it through that, then it means I can make it through other things.
Yeah.
But at this moment, possible. Yeah. But at this moment, in this time that we're in right now, we're right there. We're in the nitty-gritty, like I said. And don't get me wrong, I've had situations still at this time that throw me off guard, but that allows me to know, okay, am I gonna go ahead and put myself and focus in that situation and keep, grinding on it and developing more of that scenario, or am I gonna just stop it, nip it in the bud, and go this way? Because I am that which creates my reality.
Absolutely.
So if I'm that,
yeah, I mean, you're like everyone, you're like an amazing, beautiful soul, which I keep using that term, because we're all beautiful souls filled with that potential. Sorry if you permit that I just mention here that is something that I really love and appreciate about not only you as a person, as a friend, but also as a beautiful soul, as a person. But also what you're doing with your YouTube channel, for example, is that you are, and we'll mention that, YouTube channel so people can explore what you're doing. It's you really have focused, and that's something I really honor personally, with this notion of recovering who you are, and being in that silence and doing the inner work, the inner journey. And I know I keep repeating this whole thing about the inner journey, and people are probably tired of hearing it, but I personally believe that this is the only way we're going to manifest that beautiful positive reality on Terra and change our world, is through this unique work by each and every one of us, doing that journey of recovery, of healing, of transmutation, but also of remembering, and trusting that process of recovery and remembering. And you're just doing that. You're honoring that. You're making this your priority, and I really honor that, because it's not easy. It's easier to get caught up in like the drama and oh, I'm gonna do this and that, rather than just doing that inner grinding journey of going within. And you're really doing that. And that's something you know I find it's amazing. And I see a lot of things are coming out of that journey. You're starting to remember names, images, things. And it's just to say to other people who are on a journey and sometimes are wondering, am I going to recover information? Yes. When you are persevering, when you do that journey, it does bring back memories and things. So
Absolutely.
you're living
I mean, you're on point. Inner work, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, it's just the only way. The only way I can help others is that I can try to be as the truly person, the truth of who I am.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
be an example of who, I want to be, and how I want to help others.
And it can be done in humility as well. It doesn't have to be,
Absolutely.
it's not an ego thing. It can be in simplicity and authenticity, as I know you are. You're going to be able to say, like, I love that about your channel. You're going to say, today I'm feeling this, and that's what's going on inside. And and that offers others also the opportunity to relate to your experience. And I find that it's an important way of being real, and that's beautiful about you.
And one thing I have to confess, being honest, is trying to accept the when you say good things about me, like, it's hard for me to, you know what I'm saying?
Take it in.
It's hard for me to accept certain, when you say good things about me, I just, and it's not negative. It's just that I'm learning that it's okay to accept, people's likes about you, and but
the journey in itself as well.
Yeah.
The healing process.
I notice it. I have to confess, I cringe a little bit, because obviously I was not used to receiving accolades. As a child, it was the opposite. So, again, not to, woe is me, but it's just my journey was that. And looking at that right now is just, so it's up to me. It's not up to anybody else to make me feel good. Not that but it's up to me to accept it, to embrace those beautiful accolades, in a humble way, and being able to say, you know what, I have to love me and my sovereignty, and who I am, and rediscovering, much more than just, not that being a human being is just it. I think this experience is, I think, one of the most amazing ones that we can probably write in history. But to rediscover, to like be born in this labyrinth, like this maze, and be able to get out of it, and then say, oh my gosh, here I am. And it's, even though it's painful, the end, or that beginning, let's say, it's wonderful. And I can't wait to continue to trust, as that the beings that we are, and where we come from, and why we came. I never thought that we were just here to work and pay bills. Like, I can't accept that. Like, I can't accept it.
No.
There was no way that I came here to work and pay bills,
It's
get
like
married.
slow
Happy. I
death
mean,
of the soul.
the slow, yeah, it's like this, walking in lines and getting your check and going to the groceries and walking to the bank. I mean, I just felt like this cartwheel. I'm like, this can't be it. And
But at the same
obviously,
time, I
yeah,
mean, I'm always try to be in this, the shadow work of always integrating the things that are,
yeah,
if you look at it and then the point of view, we can also say that all these years of doing all of that shit, sorry, of like standing in line for a paycheck, it gave us the beautiful contrast
correct.
of now recovering all our sovereignty and our knowing of who we are, and then we're able to see this beautiful contrast, because without that we would just have been like beings of light, and I don't
Just
think
bouncing around and
yeah, exactly. I mean, what's the whole purpose of that and experience? So I think it was
yeah,
part of the trip, so I don't
yeah,
regret it. Not that I'm choosing that in my reality right now, but I don't regret, because it was a beautiful experience too. And I'm sure there's a lot
yeah.
of people up there doing lineups to have that type of experience, as crazy as it sounds, I'm sure.
As crazy as we can be too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. But with those, I have to go back to it. Unfortunately, I had a technical issue with my computer, so I wasn't able to really get into the videos, but I will resume as soon as I get it back to be very humble and open and honest with the journey, with all the ups and downs, because it's not about putting a facade of who you think you are to get a certain amount of, likes or people in your channel. At the end of the day, it's like, I have to put my voice regardless. Doesn't matter if they enjoy it or not, It's a journey for me to voice out, because a lot of times in my life, I was being held back by the no's and the fears, and trying to mold yourself into a system that was made, to pretty much live in a society that was already working, but really not working, because obviously our sufferings were an indication that something wasn't right. It's like you're trying to put a puzzle, and it's not the piece, and you keep pushing it in, and it doesn't work. So those sufferings are for one to awake. It's like, as hard as it is, that dark night of the soul it's a point where you say, okay, do I keep continuing this hole and just dig a hole and just go in there and say goodbye to the world, or should I just do about face and go the other way, regardless how I look, feel, and think at that moment? Because I wasn't feeling happy. I felt ugly. I felt worthless. I mean, I'm not shy to say it anymore, because that's how I felt.
Yeah.
But there was a little part of me that says, hang in there,
Persevere.
hang in there. Yeah. So
and you did, and it was all worth it, because look at you today. You're like this radiant woman who's still humble and simple, but just bringing your own sovereign truth. Yeah. And I say this not to make you uncomfortable, but just, I feel that what you're doing through your channel is being real and being authentic, and that's priceless.
Yeah.
I honor that.
And it's important to be you. I mean, I'm actually funny, but I haven't been like, that part I have to eventually put it in. But, slowly but surely, because when you go back to how you were as a child, that's pretty much, you will find there pretty much who you really are, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it in pictures. If you go back in your pictures, I was silly. I was always trying to make people laugh. I was dancing. I was, the light of the party, because I just wanted people to be happy. I love to travel. I love to sing. I like to dance, So all that, if you go back in your childhood, you can see, you have a glimpse of who you really are. And that's that creative being that we are. We all are creative. And that's what happened to us, is that the fear came in and made us, be fearful of life and to live in a very fight or flight. Like, I have to survive, so I have to work, I have to pay bills, I have to, save. So how can you be creative when you're in that mode? All that creativity is put aside because you have to survive,
And we live in a world also where everything creative is like, that's something you do when you have time and your paycheck is secured. It's never like, this is the call of my soul, and whatever money, whatever, I'm going to do this. And we're always encouraged to have other things take over this creativity that's within us, because obviously they don't want us to be creative and manifesting that beautiful reality.
I don't see fear creating. How can fear be creative? How can fear dance? How can fear sing? Yeah. When you are in a place of love and joy and peace, you want to sing, you want to dance, and you want to create. So those are the things that I'm eventually honing into, because that's what I loved, Yeah. And regardless of, what others think, it doesn't matter. I've learned that I should speak my mind respectfully. I can speak my mind and be respectful of people. The verbiage, you can just change it, but you can speak out. Some people hold back so much because they're afraid of what's gonna come back. And that's sad. That's sad, because that you keep, holding back, and eventually one day you're gonna pop, and hopefully nobody's around you, because unfortunately it can be ugly.
Absolutely.
But
my dear Vicky, time flies, and we're having fun. I'm going to leave you a few opportunities to say a few words. Before we do, I would like you to share a little bit about your beautiful YouTube channel you've started a few months ago. Just tell us a little bit more about it, where people can, what's the name of it, how people can join your beautiful channel. And first of all.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to revise as well the podcast, because in the podcast, I started it in 2020 when, that little lockdown we had. So it gave me time to really hone in to one of the things that I love to do, and is to interview people and talk about their experience. So I have that, and I hope I'll just put a link, if you don't mind, on it's called Homebound and No Toilet Paper. Hence, what happened during that time.
Literally.
Literally. And then afterwards, I decided to do some interviews. I have a couple of interviews on YouTube. There's certain interviews that I can't do, obviously, because we talk a lot about certain things that are still. So I may include that in the podcast. I think I can get away with that. Yeah. But the other videos are very short videos of, I think I did 6 episodes of short videos of, of finding your true voice, and what I did through my experience in life to hone in, and some insights, humble insights, and in how to listen to yourself, and what elements, what things one needs to do in order to really hone in. Yeah. And importantly, which I'll start talking about, it's helping your nervous system. Because even still to this day, I still have, having suffered from, PTSD for a bit, you still have certain symptoms, and there's certain things that I do with yoga and Buddhism and stillness that helps to, and nutrition, that helps to your nervous system. Because as soon as you start to find peace and you're in homeostasis, that's when you start to really hone in to a different part of you that has been suppressed, and it's pretty much the fear. So
absolutely. So people on your channel will not only be able to go into that more not contemplative, but going in within, invitation to go within, but there's also these beautiful interviews. And as I've said, we've also had interviews together, you and me, but also with Dennis and with Dawn, and you had a beautiful presentation you did, having to do with, healing, opportunities of healing and modalities, which was wonderful. So again, I'm going to put that under the video so people can really have an opportunity to look at that. So before we leave, do you have just a few words you'd like to share with everybody regarding, you know, where you stand at in terms of like what's coming in the future now? How do you tangibly want to really incarnate or manifest this beautiful reality on Terra?
It's I feel that all of us, although we want to be out there and be involved and hands-on, the journey will happen as long as your inner journey is clear, and our love for ourselves, which is something I'm working for, you know, towards, is magnified to the point that, you know, we don't necessarily need to do so many things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's being at that
Less
point that less is more. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I haven't said it. Yeah, it's not mine.
less is more. Absolutely. And that's where I'm trying to be in that place. And I encourage everyone. And I obviously am welcoming as well input, because not only I feel I am at a point in my life that I can teach humbly, but I still am a student. You know, I still learn a lot from other people because everybody's experience is different. So I encourage everyone to hone in to their own hearts, to their own sovereignty and the powerful being that they are. And as an example, then you are able to help others to see that within themselves. I hope that makes sense.
Totally. And what you say about the ever learning person, what, you know, in Buddhism, I think in the Zen Buddhism, they call the spirit of the what's the name of it? Not the spirit, the state of the eternal student or something like that. I don't know what's the exact expression.
Yeah,
but always remembering that we're always, until we reach 13th density, we're always into that. We're invited to keep that spirit of that intention of the student, because you know, we always have to learn. And
the middle way. The Buddhism talks a lot about the middle way. It's not too much to this point and too much to the other. It's just right, just in that. Yeah,
the balance.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Things that we sometimes know with our brain, but always need to remind ourselves and others. It's always a good thing to, you know,
I always have to remind myself.
Me too.
And when things happen, that's when I say, okay, I have to go back and remind myself. You know, it's beautiful. It's, you know, but it's going to be at the end of the day, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel it very, very much so.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you for coming on the channel again and sharing your beautiful wisdom and beautiful soul with us and inspiring us with what you're doing. I mean, we haven't even talked about certain things that you do in terms of engagement and helping people out, perhaps for another interview. But I mean, just already the work you're doing by just being the example of someone who goes within and is trying to do that inner journey of healing is already quite inspiring. And for me, the future of Terra. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being all you are.
And thank you.
Take immense care of yourself, and perhaps we'll have another interview at some point again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I appreciate you.
It's an honor to have you. Take care, my friend. Bye. All my gratitude for helping this channel bring high vibrations and high frequencies to more people.